Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Like you said, my name is Katie Fleming, and I'm a graduate here from Hill Country. I started attending Hill Country when I was in the 8th grade, and I graduated in '04 with 23 people in my graduating class. I think that was the biggest as of then. There were 6 girls, so that was definitely fun, and some of us are still best friends. So he talked a lot about the relationships of the school here, like just the small size fosters relationships between classmates and then between teachers and students. The teachers really invest in you personally. They care about how you're doing academically and also personally and with your faith, and they actually ask you, how you're doing with things and that kind of stuff, so that's definitely fun. A little bit about what I've been doing since I've been at Hill Country, just to give you an idea kind of where you can go after you graduate. I attended Trinity University. It's a small liberal arts college in San Antonio for 2 years, and I was majoring in classical languages with a minor in religious studies. And then UT offered a little bit more in their classics department that I wanted, so I transferred over to University of Texas at Austin, where I just graduated in August with degrees in classical civilizations and religious studies. So that was definitely fun. And since then, I've got a full-time job at the Texas Municipal League, Legal Legislative Services for Cities. I'm the executive assistant there, so I've been adjusting to the real world, or working world, I should say. But I wanted to mainly talk about how Hill Country prepared me academically for the rigors of the universities that I went to. Basically, Hill Country teaches you to think critically. And I think a lot of times schools kind of just, you memorize stuff, you do busy work, and you regurgitate it, and that's kind of what it is, and you take their standardized test and you're done. Hill Country really teaches you how to think critically, and within that specifically, writing and speaking skills were something that I learned beyond what I needed to learn basically for university level. It's very intensive with the writing and the speaking. There's debate class, there's rhetoric class, there was a speech class when I was there. I don't know if you have it anymore, but debate class and rhetoric class. You're taught to get in front of people, to present your argument, to speak eloquently. And with writing, I think one of the greatest things is the senior thesis that the students are required to do their senior year. It can be kind of daunting, because you're asked to write, a 15-page paper, and then you're asked to present it in front of a panel of judges and defend it. So it can be kind of intimidating, but the process, you go step by step through it and you learn how to do it. So by the time that I got to college, they would be like, okay, write a 5-page paper, and you're like, okay, no problem, or give a 5-minute presentation on this, and it was easy for me. And for example, at Trinity when I got there, I had to take just the basic writing component course that they require for their core curriculum, but the professor saw my writing. I'm not trying to brag here, I'm just, okay, I'm bragging. He saw my writing and was like, wow, I need an editorial assistant. Would you like to be my assistant? I was like, sure. So, and he has an international publication, so that was kind of cool. Just that he would recognize my writing ability right off the bat. And so that's definitely one thing that Hill Country was, and Miss Huckle, I see you over there. She was one of my teachers. Well, a lot of y'all here, but writing in specifically. Let's see, what else? Let me look at my notes here. Oh, classics. Now, being a classics nerd, I won't talk too much about this, but I think classics are very, very important. I think it's great what Hill Country did with the classical education here. For example, I think, when kids hear they have to take Latin, they're like, why do I have to take Latin? Isn't it a dead language? No one speaks it. You kind of hear this all the time, but there are so many benefits to taking Latin. I won't go into it all, but it's a language that really teaches you how to think through the construction of the language, and that applies to different areas. That can, apply to the way you look at math and science courses and that kind of thing. So it's just very beneficial just all around. And of course, like right now I'm studying for the GRE, and even now I see a word and I'm like, well, I don't know what the word means, but you can break it down with the Latin roots. So it's going to be very beneficial even for just the students' SAT scores that are, you know, will be much better because of their Latin. And then I didn't have the opportunity to take Greek here because it wasn't offered, unfortunately, when I was here. But the fact that Hill Country offers Greek is awesome, because to learn the language of the New Testament and to be able to translate it and to see what it says in its original language, that's just awesome, because it really brings out some truths in the scriptures that you wouldn't otherwise get. So I think I've touched on all of it. Just in general, I mean, Hill Country, I really enjoyed my time here. And I felt more than prepared for college. I did very well GPA-wise, very well in all my courses. So, and I attribute that to Hill Country and my education here. So I guess that's it. Thank you very much.